Why do you have to die?
I got him put back together.
Okay, so we're here.
Wait.
What?
Before we go any further, this is the spoiler video. If you don't want spoilers, because I know a lot of people don't, I didn't. He ended up accidentally kind of seeing one. Bad idea. So, if you don't want spoilers, turn back now.
This is your last chance.
We have
3,
another video that talks about the movie without spoilers.
1.
Spoilers. Okay,
so anyway, this is a couple review. We're going to talk about the end game and our favorite parts, spoilers, all that stuff. What? Okay. We're going to start with our favorite scenes. Favorite scenes in the movie. What's your... Okay, funniest scene. Hands down.
Funniest scene?
Hands down. Or do you want to just talk about the plot?
I think the funniest scene is when Thanos punches Captain Marvel in the face and she just kind of looks at him like...
No, he tried his headbutt, remember?
I thought he tried to punch her.
Yeah, no, he headbutted her and she just went...
Mm-hmm. Nice try.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty BA of her.
So, Iron Man... Oh, too soon?
Don't. My favorite scene was when they first came...
You said funny scene!
My funny scene was when they first came into Thor's new Asgard and he's fat. Boy, put on some weight! Oh, sorry, my baby, be loud. Boy, put on some weight. He looked like he ate Mjolnir in this. He got it in his belly. Oh my gosh, that was bad. That was really bad. But yeah, okay, so...
Playing Fortnite.
All right. So, yeah, his buddies Korg and Meek playing Fortnite. That was pretty insane.
Wow.
Okay, so plot.
Thor's fat now.
So, plot.
I just can't get over that.
So, start with the beginning of the movie. Okay, I know it wasn't your favorite, but, you know, we start with opening up with Hawkeye and his family.
It was so cute.
And then they, got snapped. And it was obviously a reference to when Infinity War happened and Thanos snapped. Then we eventually go to the Avengers now, and it's messed up. It's a jumbled mess. But we went to Iron Man, remember? And then Captain Marvel ended up saving Iron. By the way, I called that in one of my spoilers or in one of my guesses.
No, you said that you thought.
I said either he's going to get himself out of there or Captain Marvel's going to find him. And Captain Marvel found him, brought him back, happy, or everybody's, oh yeah, he's back, and he had to be rested up. He was pretty bad shape. Then our heroes decide it's time to take action. They
like a bunch of crazy nuts with no plan.
Yep, they all went to Thanos' planet, and Thor cut his head off.
Well, first he cut his arm off.
And we found out that Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones with the Infinity Stones, so that none of his stuff could have been undone.
But when he did that, he about killed himself.
He did about kill himself.
I mean,
his arm was like all
when he shows
jacked
up, he's incinerated.
Yeah, he's
like
mad.
Half
he's
his
messed
face
up.
is all like messed up.
Yeah. Thor went for the head that time.
Yep, nope. Thor just came flying in, walked up,
talked a little bit, then. Yep.
After Nebula like had her little spiel with her daddy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh,
she
maybe I wasn't so rough.
Maybe I shouldn't have been so rough."
Yeah. And then then Thor just says, "Well,
forget it.
I don't care. I'm killing him."
And then we go 5 years into the future.
And
everybody is split apart.
Yep.
No, not some of them. But Black Widow was basically in control of the Avengers, sending them off on missions to take care of things. We heard how, Ronan or Clint Barton was out there just slaughtering people.
Well, he wasn't slaughtering like good people. He was slaughtering like cartel.
Yeah, that's true.
Them. But he was still slaughtering people.
Yeah, and
he did it pretty cool.
Iron Man, we found out, has a kid now, a little girl, with Pepper, and yeah, she was adorable. And
oh my gosh.
Then we found out. Then Scott Lang came back. Ant-Man came back and said, "Hey, I got an idea. Quantum realm, time jumping.
All because
that's
the one thing I don't like.
The rat saved the universe.
Freaking rat.
It saved the universe. That rat is a savior. We need to make a statue to that rat.
I don't know why they didn't.
They should have. That rat saved
Stepped
the universe.
On the button.
Got Scott Lang out, and then they said, "Hey, We can go back in time.
He said that.
Yeah, he said that. We can go back in time. Let's figure this out. And they went to Tony. Tony's like, nah, dude, I got what I want. I like my life now. Let's keep it that way. And Pepper basically told him, no, you need to do this.
Well, no, that was after he started thinking and solved it.
And then we met Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
That was... What, you didn't like Hulk in this?
I do. It was just when we first met him, he was just kind of like, oh, hey, kids, you want pictures with the Hulk? And he takes his glasses off and he starts taking
He's Bruce Banner. It's a perfect mix of Bruce Banner and the Hulk together.
It's literally just Bruce Banner in the Hulk's body.
Yeah. It's from the comics, though.
It is. I like that. It was just different.
Anyway.
Took a minute to get used to.
Tony comes to his reasoning and he figures out a way to actually properly...
After Bruce screws up.
Yeah, Bruce screwed up and turned Ant-Man.
Bring back 12-year-old Scott Lang, baby Scott Lang, old man Scott Lang, and we don't know which one of those peed in
themselves.
His suit.
Yeah, that was kind of nasty.
That was great. And then Iron Man shows up and goes, so what did you do? Turn him into a baby Cap?
And he goes, we didn't have... He goes, yeah, it's this kind of theory, and I don't know what kind of theory. He was naming off random stuff. I had no idea what he was talking about. But basically... We ended up, they all grouped up as teams, and they had 3 separate plans they were going to go to. Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and Ant-Man were all going to go and get the Time Stone, the Mind Stone, and, Time and Mind, kind of, and the Space Stone.
Because
from the first Avengers.
Yeah, because there were 3 stones in the same place all at the same time.
Yep. And then, who was it? War Machine and Nebula were getting the Power Stone.
Yep, that screwed everything up, though.
And Black Widow and Hawkeye went to get the Soul Stone. And
we lost Red Warrior.
Raccoon and Thor went to get the Ether or the Reality Stone. Anyway, Nebula gets messed up because of her past self was in her.
Well,
it was
because
a time
they were
paradox.
at the same time point.
Yeah.
And from where Thanos can control Nebula, he can read
the old messages. And he ended up seeing the videos with War Machine and all that.
No, he didn't. Well, they didn't pick to have that. He didn't choose for that to happen.
It just did it.
It just did it.
Yeah. And then they accessed the files later on, and Thanos saw everything the Avengers were doing. He knew exactly what was going on.
He knew what had happened before.
And then he found out he saw his own death in the future. And
which he was okay with.
Yeah, he was. He was weird. And they actually ended up capturing the good Nebula and fake Nebula, put on the gold plate thing she had, and ended up disguising herself as the good Nebula. And then we go forward. Thor and Raccoon were able to extract the ether from Jane Foster.
Barely got
it. Yeah, and Thor had a moment with his mama. That was pretty sad.
I'm happy that she told him not to try to save her.
Yeah, that was good.
Instead of being like, son, take me away.
Cap and Banner went for the Time Stone and met the Ancient One, and it took some convincing, but then the Ancient One realized it was the best case scenario.
It wasn't convincing that she needed at all. She needed to know what had happened.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Knew what the plan was.
He told him that Strange willingly handed over the Time Stone, which is a
and then she goes, "Oh, okay."
She knows the Strange was supposed to be the best of us, so I trust what he's doing. So here, take the stone.
She just goes.
And Cap and Iron Man and Ant-Man got the Space Stone and the Mind Stone. But they lost the Space Stone to Loki, who just kind of was in the cuffs, just picked it up and teleported out there. So that could be a cliffhanger. I don't know. Maybe. Potentially.
I still don't know where he went.
I mean, it was back in the past, technically, so I don't know. I mean, because could the snap have brought him back, too, when they originally... Oh, we'll get to that. Okay. So...
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And then... So they had to go to a different point to get the Tesseract.
Well, yep.
And more Pym particles.
Well, and that just made things more complicated because then Tony ran into his Paja, and that was interesting.
That was interesting, but it was a sweet moment. It was a sweet moment.
Now we know that Tony's dad really wasn't
a jerk.
that bad.
He actually cared about Tony. He said, he was even telling Tony, I'm getting ready to have a son, and I'm going to do anything for that boy. And Tony's like, oh my gosh, Daddy, you actually cared. What?
If he knew it was a son, though.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, Daddy, you actually cared.
And then Cap saw Peggy. He accidentally walked in her office.
This makes me mad. This made her cry, but later on.
It didn't make me cry.
Oh, well, you were like...
No, I wasn't. I was just like, oh, I got to see her.
Yeah, he saw Peggy, and that was a sweet moment. It was. Let's see. Then we go forward, and everybody comes back. We have all the Infinity Stones.
Everybody cries about Black Widow.
That's right. We didn't get to that. I forgot.
Because her and Hawkeye have a fight. Ronan.
They don't have a fight. They have a fight over who's going to sacrifice
That's
themselves.
what I was saying.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
And she ends up getting him because they both fall over the edge. I don't know who shot the grappling hook, but somebody did.
She did.
Okay, well then how the heck did he have it?
Maybe he did then.
Did she shoot his grappling hook like it was attached? I don't know. Somehow a grappling hook got shot. She knew what she was doing. She
let go of his hand.
Hold on to his hand, and
sacrificed
he couldn't
herself.
hold on to her, and he let her go.
And she died, giving
to
her
the same soundtrack that
Gamora died.
Gamora to.
Yep, same exact soundtrack, which was, I honestly thought it was kind of brilliant.
That was.
It was brilliant.
I didn't pick up on it at first. Though.
Until I said something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's the same one.
That's why I told everybody in the last video, the non-spoiler to brush up. So, that all happens. They come back. They build a gauntlet. What they don't understand and don't realize is they brought back the wrong Nebula.
The bad one. Bad Nebula with daddy issues still.
Yep. But the good Nebula
was still alive.
Yep, and convincing Gamora that
Thanos was bad.
Yeah, which worked.
And then we got to see they put the Infinity Stones in Stark's own Infinity Gauntlet that he made.
Ooh.
And they were arguing over who was going to do it. Thor was like, I'll do it. And they're like, no, you're fat now.
No,
you're not. I know that I didn't say that, but they said he wasn't in the right shape to do it.
He was still drunk.
Oh, I didn't think that's what it was. But...
Yeah, no, he was still drunk. He was like, guys. I still love how he had to explain the reality.
Yeah. That was
like,
fine.
oh.
They were just like, okay, you could just stop now. He's like, no, let me tell the story. All right, but anyway, Hulk steps up, Professor Hulk, and he says, look, I'll do it. It's loaded with gamma radiation, so I have the best chance of survival. So he puts it on. It's taking a minute. He's really struggling, and then all of a sudden you see his fingers goes up, and he just, like that.
And Hawkeye gets a phone call.
And Hawkeye gets a phone call from his wife. They saved everybody. But Nebula...
Shush, calm down.
Sorry.
You're getting too loud. You can get called.
Just go.
So, same time as all that's going on, Nebula brings Thanos and them here. Teleports them in. Literally,
their entire... Thanos' massive warship. And it just goes... Shoo! Yep. It started off small, and then it got bigger and exploded through the roof. And then
they didn't realize that?
I don't know. I think they were so focused on the Hulk, because remember they did that shutdown thing that shut down or put all the shutters down and everything?
It doesn't matter. He busted... It doesn't matter.
Okay, so anyway.
He goes up, and then they snap. Everybody's like... Ant-Man goes, yay, we did it. And as he says that... And there's a missile coming, and they shoot missiles at the whole Avengers building. 20 or 40 missiles, destroys the whole Avenger building. They all get trapped. And it just turned into who's saving who when, trying to get everybody out of there. Yep. And then, this was my favorite. Cap gets there. Hawkeye found the gauntlet. And he secured it, and then he found those little weird dog alien things. I love how they played football or rugby or however you want to try to. That was at the end. So I know, we'll talk about that. But he faced something, and he was running away from those little dog things that they had in Infinity War. It's kind of creepy in a dark tunnel. He got away. But Iron Man, Cap, and Thor. Oh, Thor also got his hammer back earlier in the movie. When he went back in the past, he got Mjolnir. He also... kept Stormbreaker still.
And he kept Stormbreaker. And
He
they
takes
got
both
there.
of them to battle.
And then they're all standing up there, and he says, "All right, it's time." And then the lightning swirls around, and he goes, and his eyes get all lightning, and he just grabs both Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, and is like, "Ah!" It was pretty.
Took off towards Thanos.
It was pretty insane.
So him, Thanos, Iron Man,
Captain America, and Iron Man all went to face off against Thanos.
That was interesting.
How'd you feel about that fight?
I loved how Cap got to.
Wait, we'll get to that. Yo, keep going.
Because that's the part that I like.
Fine, okay.
There's not
They're
really
all fighting.
any other part.
They're doing pretty crappy against Thanos, actually. Even
no,
with...
at first they did halfway decent, and then Thanos wised up and beat the fool out of them. But then while Thor's down, Thor's getting ready to get sliced in half with Stormbreaker from Thanos. You just see the hammer fly.
No, you see it on the ground that it gets picked up. And then you see it fly and hit Thanos. And then you look back as it flies backwards and just Cap's there, and he's like...
And then Thor just goes, "I knew it."
Thor goes, "I knew he was worthy." It was pretty awesome. Yeah. Anyway, then they have this big battle with Thanos, but even with Mjolnir, Cap ends up losing to Thanos, and Thanos is sitting there talking, and he stands up. Cap stands up, listening to him, and he says, "I realized what I did wrong." He said, "I just need to wipe out everybody and then let the universe start over, so nobody knows what they had before, because then they're going to try and reverse it and correct it." And then he's like, "I'll make sure of that." And then his massive army. I mean, this was one of the biggest armies I've ever seen in my life. Like in any movie.
Okay, basically you take the army from Infinity War and...
multiply by 5, probably.
No, well, you take like that army, because we saw different creatures in that army and in the Avengers.
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah, the first one. Okay.
So basically you're mixing both of those and multiplying it by 10.
Yeah, mixing those two armies together, multiplying by 10, that's what we had. Like, I mean, it was massive.
Huge.
But this was probably my favorite scene in the movie.
I loved this part.
Yes. You want to explain it?
No, you obviously took in a lot more than I did.
Why? What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm also falling asleep right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get through this. Cap's standing there, and all of a sudden, he says, "Cap." You hear somebody say, "Cap, you there?" It's Sam. And then we're all like, "Whoa, what?" And then he says, "On your left," and we see a big portal behind him, and out walks Black Panther. And then Falcon flies through. With his sister and the other, I can't remember her name. Okoye. And then behind him, you see Wakanda's army, all of them, ready for battle, coming out of the portal. But it doesn't stop there. Then we see Spider-Man, Drax, who else? Star-Lord, I can't think of it, Mantis, and all of them come out of a portal. And then we see Doctor Strange come, and then we see all these other wizards.
From the different points in time where they were fighting from the last movie, they came out of a portal.
And then we saw the Asgardians. The Asgardians came, and they came to fight the battle. And then Valkyrie showed up. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Valkyrie showed up, and then who else showed up? There was a bunch of other people.
It was literally everybody.
Then the rest of the Avengers came, and they were all ready.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., everybody.
Yeah.
Because they brought the S.H.I.E.L.D.
They did bring the S.H.I.E.L.D. planes, that was pretty cool. Oh, Pepper showed up. Pepper Potts with the Iron Man suit. In a suit. That was freaking awesome. I was appreciative of that. You go ahead and say what Cap did. What he did. They got everybody hyped. Remember after everybody showed up?
Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
And then they just took off.
Finally, after all this time, Cap says Avengers assemble. And then they just charge in. It's everybody. Thanos' army versus all the Avengers. All the Avengers. All of them. Okay. And it was a massive battle. Massive battle ensued. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
Was a glorious spectacle to see. And it's something you have to see in theaters. So do not watch this on some pirated film or anything. You have to see it in theaters. Yeah. Okay, it's not going to be even the same on DVD release when it comes out. It's a theater thing. You have to go see it. It's intense. It's amazing.
Sorry, I'm exhausted.
It's probably would you say one of the biggest battles in movie history?
Yes.
Hands down.
Yes.
Yeah, hands down one of the biggest battles in movie history. Any movie, not just Marvel.
I mean, we dressed up for it, so I would hope it would be.
True. Anyway, we go through all the fights. Oh, Ant-Man saved the Hulk and Rocket and all them by turning big, all that. And then we
stomping through. That was funny.
Yeah, he was just stomping through.
Potts saved Spider-Man at one point.
A lot of different things. This is something we can't really talk about. There's so many.
Then Star-Lord saw Gamora. It's like, oh my gosh, we're back.
And then she kicked him right in the crotch. You could have just said crotch.
She didn't kick him. She kneed him. And she missed the first time and hit both on the second try.
Yeah, so this isn't our original Gamora. This is a different Gamora.
The past Gamora. Like Gamora when she was like wanting to help Thanos, kind of.
But she turned away.
It was like right
But she doesn't remember Star-Lord or any of them.
No.
So.
And Nebula was trying to explain that to her. So that'll be fun to see in the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
That will be fun to see.
Now I see how that's going to be difficult for them. Okay.
Anyway, then Doctor Strange shows up and Tony walks up to him and he says, "Strange, is this what you saw? Is this how it ends?" And he goes, I tell you, it won't happen. And then we go through the battle and all of a sudden Thanos gets absolutely massacred by Scarlet Witch. She shows up and makes him look like a freaking punk. She lifts him in the air, tearing his armor off. Thanos just tells him to fire down all the fire, and the ship starts blasting even his own troops. And all the magic wizards are like blocking it with shields and stuff. But then all of a sudden, the guns point up in the sky, and they start shooting out into the sky, and everybody's like, "What? What's going on?"
My girl showed up.
Captain
she showed
Marvel.
up finally. She came back finally.
Captain Marvel just showed up.
Okay, she had been there earlier in the movie, but she said that whatever was happening. Oh.
Then she realized what happened. They won. They had snapped people back into existence.
Well, yes, because she was going to all the other planets in the galaxy and having to save all of them because everything that happened here on Earth happened there too. And they were following the pieces.
And I bet because Nick Fury was alive, he recalled her to Earth.
I didn't think about that. Oh, yeah. She killed the spaceship.
And then she just went straight through
Thanos'
spaceship, a massive one.
And it just went...
And Thanos is sitting there and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I think I just lost." But he didn't say that, but you can see it in his face.
But then she comes and tries to beat the fool out of him. And
the Infinity Gauntlet. It gets tossed around, the new one. It's getting tossed around by everybody.
Keep in mind, it was made by Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
So it's Iron Man armor. When you put the stones near it, it'll open to take them in, but just keep on.
Anyway, so we go through, and basically we get through the battle. They toss the Infinity Gauntlet around from... It started with Clint, then it went to Black Panther, then it went to Spider-Man, then it went to Captain Marvel.
It was rugby, football, whatever you want.
And they were trying to get the stones back in the back of time, so they fired up the quantum realm in the back of the van. Captain Marvel was trying to get there, and I thought it was kind of cool. They had all the girl superheroes show up to push through and get Captain Marvel to the van, and they kicked some butt.
Oh yeah,
they did. But Thanos wasn't having it. He threw his glaive and destroyed the quantum realm thing and the truck and everything, and then started fighting Captain Marvel. And she had a pretty good battle. Then that's what happened whenever he tried headbutting her.
She just laughed
in his face. But then she did get the better of him eventually. Or he got the better of her eventually and eventually pulled her away. Grabbed the gauntlet and put it on. All this time, Doctor Strange is trying to push the water away because the water's about to crash into the little area, the crater. And Iron Man's standing there, and Doctor Strange just looks at him, and he goes, because he was telling him there's only one possibility out of all of those that they won.
And this was it.
Iron Man goes up to Thanos, and he attacks him.
But what Thanos doesn't realize is that when Tony hit his hand on the gauntlet,
it switched the stones to Tony's.
Pulled him out.
To
and
Tony's
so
suit.
Thanos goes, I forgot what
He thought,
said.
he was like, see, I told you, I'm inevitable. And he snaps.
And then he goes.
And nothing happens, and he goes. And then he looks at Iron Man, and Iron Man raises his hands up with all the stones, and he says, I am Iron Man. Yeah. And then snaps his fingers. Thanos' army disappears. Everybody disappears. And
Not everybody, just Thanos people.
Just
died.
Thanos' army. And then
the ships.
He sits down. Thanos sits down, and then he just fades away into dust, which I called that wrong. I thought he was going to actually live, and I thought he was going to play a bigger part later in the MCU, but I was wrong. You got to take this next part.
Well, Bruce already barely held it together earlier when he snapped. So if the Hulk can barely handle the stones, and Thanos can barely handle the stones, a measly human being like Tony Stark can't handle him. And so he looks like he's incinerated half of his body. And Spider-Man comes up and talks to him and starts crying. And then Potts comes up and starts crying.
She actually says, she doesn't start crying right away. She leans over to him, and he's sitting there, and she says, it's okay, you can rest now.
We're all okay.
We're all okay. And then she's holding his hand, and his hand just slips out of her hand.
After his light went out.
After his...
Did you not see that?
Yeah, I did. After his
light
chest
went
light
out, and then his hand went down.
And
so he lost it right then.
Tony Stark, Iron Man, the one who started it all and ended it all, gave his life for it all.
Yep.
Respect to him. And I lost it. I tears streaming down my face. You can hear people in the theater just crying. It was rough.
Yep.
You can finish the rest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Well, and then Cap gets to take the stones back.
They have a funeral for him.
Okay, well, they have a funeral for Iron Man. Iron Man's daughter is still alive, all that fun stuff. Everybody gets to go back to their families. Everybody comes to the funeral. After the funeral, Bruce has Cap go back in time and put all the stones exactly where they were. Like, back where they were, exactly. And when he does that, he was supposed to come back. Which the one thing I'm still thinking about is where did the hammer go? Because he took the hammer with him.
I don't know. I couldn't remember.
But he doesn't come back. And this is what made me tear up. So he got to have his happily ever after with Peggy.
Yeah, he did, but Iron Man did.
Shush. Iron Man at least had a kid. I don't know if Cap did. Who knows if he got to pass on the genes. But, okay. But Bruce had told him, we're meeting back right here. And Sam and Bucky were there. And they're at this location near the original, I think, Avengers building. And they look over, and there's an old man randomly sitting there on a park bench. It's Cap.
Old
Cap.
Wrinkled.
Yep. Old man.
And
Gonna die soon. And he brings the shield. He opens it up and says, here, Sam.
Gives it to Sam. Falcon. Not Bucky. He gives his shield to Falcon. Passes on the mantle of Captain America to Falcon.
That kind of irritated me.
I know it did.
But it's okay.
Anyway, then we go on and show Steve with Peggy and in the past, and they're dancing in their little house together and married, and he got his happily ever after. That's where it ended. And then there's no post-credit scene, but
there's a sound.
If you stay till the end, you hear cling, 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 which is a reference to the first Iron Man movie, where it all started, and Tony building his Iron Man suit in that cave. Where it all started is where it all ended. And that's the movie. So how would you rate the movie, 1 through 10?
I'd give it a 10.
You give it a 10, solid 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because there was a lot of things they added in that I didn't think that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did kind of call either Black Widow or Ronan dying.
I told you. I said that too. I said I bet Natasha's gonna die because her movie's only a prequel. I said I've watched her. I thought it was gonna be her and Hulk that would go to Vormir, but it was her and Hawkeye went to Vormir.
Well,
and they started building up to that.
Yeah, they rebuilt their friendship, their relationship, and then just tore it all back to pieces.
Yeah, and then I called Iron Man dying. I thought Cap was gonna die. I actually did call. I said I bet Cap goes back in the past and actually stays in the past, and he did.
I knew Iron Man was dying.
I knew it. And the original Avengers are basically 3 of them. Well, 2 of them are dead. One of them, his arm is completely incinerated. The Hulk. The other one's gonna live with his family, probably Hawkeye, Ronan.
Thor's got to lose some weight.
Thor's got to lose some weight.
He's now with the Guardians.
Possibly for the 3rd movie, I think. Maybe.
No,
But we don't know if Hemsworth has another contract with Marvel. I think his contract's up.
They're not just going to cut him out right there.
We'll see.
Because
we'll see what happens.
No, because he said he had a new path because he told Valkyrie that she is now queen over the Asgardians. That got passed on. That was weird.
You know what I just thought about? They did some really smart maneuvering here. Because guess what the start of Phase 4 is? Spider-Man. Iron Man was the start of Phase 1. They're passing the mantle on to Tony's protege, basically. Smart thinking. It's a smart move. Spider-Man's the start of Phase 4. So, and we really, from this movie, we have no idea what's going to happen with Phase 4. They didn't reveal any kind of spoilers or anything for Phase 4 going forward. We don't know anything.
Who knows? They might not know where they're going. All I know is I think Thor is going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie because in this movie he flat out
he said the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But he passes on the throne to Valkyrie because he wants
to follow his own path.
He wants multiple paths to choose from. He basically has no path. He can go anywhere, which is then why he got on the ship with the Guardians, and that's going to be interesting.
It will. I'd probably give this movie a solid 10 too. Just the emotional pull, the emotional distress that it also created, the fun, and there are moments they had with funniness. They put in the right points.
Yep.
They really nailed it in the right points. I appreciated how they did that well.
America's.
And was there anything you didn't like particularly besides the beginning? I know, but I'm talking about specific scenes or things that were kind of like, why would you do that?
Not really.
I will say I liked the Hulk in this movie, but he could have used more fight scenes.
Yeah, he could have been better. He was just kind of...
He was more the plot point of the Infinity Gauntlet.
They basically brought the Hulk back just to say, hey, we brought him back. Guys, look, he's here.
Yeah, and I didn't... I
thought he was going to do more, and then he just kind of was like, I helped build a gauntlet, guys.
And I snapped for you. But he didn't really do much fighting. No. And I didn't like that. I wish he would have done more, like he had in the previous. But they wrapped up his story, so I don't even know if I don't know if Hulk's done. We don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
I don't think yes, but he's very sad that Nat's gone.
He is. He said he couldn't bring her back, and he was super sad about that.
He tried. He said he thought about her when he snapped.
But it wasn't going to happen.
I know, but she sacrificed herself.
For the Soul Stone.
Is there anything else you have to say? I think I'm all out of words.
Me too. I mean, I'm still in awe. Like, I'm going to go see it tomorrow night again, and probably going to have the same reaction I did tonight.
Did you see how long we've been talking for?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Oopsies.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed our spoiler review. We kind of gave them the whole plotline run.
Literally?
Yeah, literally.
The whole plot run. Yeah. Hey, I mean, we did it in a lot less time than Marvel did.
Yeah, we did it in 2.5 hours less.
Yeah. I would be pretty impressed.
Was it worth the 10-year build-up? Yes.
I think if you add all the other movies in, yes.
It hit upon a lot of the other movies. They
If
went
it
to
did-
the original
if-
Avengers, Thor: The Dark World, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy. They did all those. They went to those, and they did them justice.
Okay, I think I'm ready to go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay, well,
I want to go home.
anyway, all right, you guys have a good night, and we will see you guys next time on our next review, whatever movie that'll be. So anyway,
Click like, subscribe, comment down below. Don't get mad at us for spoiling. We gave you a forewarning, and tell us what movie you want us to see next.
Yep.
Because we'll go see it, even if it's crappy.
yeah, we'll do crappy ones. So anyway, bye.